anymore.
No, there's not a lot of those. So we'll get started with this one. This one was funny for me because I was looking around and I kind of want to keep it white because it's coming into summer and we need a lot of startup wines. We're not going to go right to a red on a Saturday or Sunday afternoon. We're going to have a white, I think, in the beginning. So I think throughout the next few months, I might try and find some cool whites
Or a rosé.
And most
rosé.
Most people or rosés, I could go there, but that might start maybe maybe a couple of weeks. We're in June, so but this is the wine here we have. It's Goats de Rome.
Did you say Coke?
Funny because there's a region in France that kind of sounds like that, isn't there?
There is.
It's the Rhone Valley, yeah. So there's been a little controversy with this winery, and there's no coincidence at all that it is Goats de Rome instead of Goats de Rome. And it's because this particular property got taken over by, I think it's Fairview is what they might even say it on the back of the bottle here. Mm-hmm. Fairview, that family took over the farm, and but prior to that, they have like a tower on the vineyard there, right outside the farm, and it's a tower. It's like a lighthouse, a mini lighthouse, and on the outside of the tower, there's planks. So normally when you go to a lighthouse, you go in the lighthouse and you use the staircase that goes inside, right, and you climb up to the top, right? But this has planks on the outside of the lighthouse, let's just say, and it's a goat tower, and the goats walk up the tower and they hang out in the tower. So the legend is that the son of, and I don't remember the name, but the son was up there, and
the son? I was taking a picture of them. I'm social mediaing you.
Okay. So the son was up there with the goats, and dummy kid, of course, we're all crazy. He got the latch, and the goats, they shot out. And the goats got out into the vineyard, and there was no control. But, the father was like, whoa, well, the goats were going at it. They went to the different varietals. They have red and they have white. They're eating the cabs, they're eating the Merlot, and they're just eating. So the cool part is why this is called Goats de Rome in a nutshell, is they had their inspector come with a clipboard and say, hey, find out what the goats are eating. And we'll find out how much of each grape did they eat. And they're our taste testers, basically. So, yeah. So how they created a blend is based on the goats that roam in the vineyard. Goats de Rome.
Really?
Oh.
Goats de Rome.
Wow.
Now that's a good story.
That is. What's the true story?
That's the story. That's the real story.
That sounds like a Lopi and Pantano story.
It almost sounds like I made it up.
It does.
And if you don't mind, you can start pouring. But before you start pouring, I want to have a little bit of notes here I've got. I printed off a tasting sheet that I'm looking at, so I can't see you guys right now.
So you're looking at print.
In the freezer?
Printed it off on my screen. And so I'm going to screw this up, but it's
We could put
why people love this wine. The Viognier, which is a grape, Roussanne and Marsanne, and some of the Grenache Blanc for this blend were sourced from the Fairview farm, which I mentioned earlier, on the slopes of the Pearl Mountain. They're grown on decomposed granite soils. The majority of the Grenache Blanc is sourced from the estate vineyards in Darling. So, the goats roam around. That's where this came from. There's several varietals of Goats de Rome, but mainly the red and the white. And this white has 36% Viognier, 32% Grenache Blanc, 26% Roussanne, and 6% Marsanne. Now, I'm not sure if I'm saying those latter two grapes perfectly or correctly. It could be a different way, but that's what I'm going with.
That was magnificent pronunciation.
Thank you. I got a couple more notes here that I wanted to talk about.
Quick question.
Oh,
Yes.
time. Oh,
So I have frozen grapes.
Yes.
Change the taste if I use them as ice cubes in my white wine.
Is your white wine at least cold to your touch of the back of your hand?
Yes.
Then don't put them in yet. Let's taste it without them and then filter them in. Because I don't know.
it's cool. It's not cold.
It's cool.
We'd be happy to temp it for you. Well, you know what?
I tried. I put it
Let
in
me
there
get
as soon
the
as I bought it.
thermometer.
Oh boy. Sorry.
No problem.
Oh, I'm not supposed to taste it yet.
Not supposed to taste it yet. Before we taste,
I caught myself.
let's get back to the
Opie,
color.
we are going to make sure. What is the optimum temperature, please?
Well, what do you got?
Well, I'm going to check.
What should white be?
Well, depends on how you like it. Really, honestly, I like it a lot colder than it should be. So I'm looking at, maybe 37.
Oh yeah, no.
Miss Jillian did not.
Some
Miss
do
Jillian
45, right?
No, 40. I'm 47. I'm sorry, not 37. I like it 37.
I like it 37
We're
as
at
well.
55. And while you're finishing your notes, I'm
You're
gonna
at
put
55.
yeah.
That's like red wine. So yeah, you drop an ice cube in it.
Picked it up at 3 o'clock.
I mean, drop a grape cube in it. You'll be fine.
Loopy.
Lopi, look at this.
You got
Can
very.
you see this? Look at her.
55. You didn't keep it long enough. Sure.
I told you I put it in.
Steak thermometer.
Look at that. 2 grape cubes.
All right. Well,
Don't taste it yet. But I'm gonna put them in the fridge while we're talking.
All
all
right.
right.
He's working on temp. If you have room in the freezer, put them in the freezer.
Loopy, keep going.
Keep going.
Yes.
He doesn't want
So
to
I
mess the
think-
dojo up.
So if you look at the color, I'm looking at the tasting notes. It's and you want to put it up against something white like a napkin, which
Okay.
is best. It's always, yep, there you go, or a piece of paper, whatever you got. Vibrant light green color in the glass. Yeah, and I
yeah.
definitely see that. So you normally look at white wine, you think yellow. There are different hints of yellow, whether it be green or
Well, there's
whatever.
a hint of green.
Yeah, it's definitely a hint of green, a light green. So almost like that, that Red Bull color, that Red Bull tropical.
Wine.
Yeah,
Red
it's
Bull.
not bad. Yeah. So then it's all right. So now let's go with the aromas. Let's give it a spin.
I need to go get it again.
Give it a spin.
We're starting even.
Oh, we're not tasting yet. You guys are.
We are going to be tasting at a mature temperature. How's that sound? Lopi said, sure. Whatever you want to do. Stop messing up my recording.
I'll give you a little words of advice here for the next wine tasting. Have your wine ready.
Don't give us the heads up on the wine.
I may give you the last minute heads up.
Well, now
But-
that you'll send it to the correct email address, you'll have the heads up right away.
Yeah, you know,
Yes.
if I looked at my receipt, we're not ready to taste yet. If I look at my receipt, I picked up my bottle after 4 p.m. today.
And it's cold?
Well, I put it in the refrigerator.
I did too.
You might want to look at your refrigerator temperature.
It's down in the freezer.
That's a separate problem. So our aromas are going to be of Granny Smith apple.
Apple?
I get the
What else you
apple.
get out of
I
there?
get apple. I get green apple.
Okay, that's Granny Smith. It's a green apple, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a couple other notes here, but I'm not going to say anything. I want to see what else you come up with.
I can't say it because I see the notes.
Now, if it's too cold, you're never going to get that. So you're in a better position.
Smells kind of sour.
Okay.
I mean, not in a bad way, but like a,
Like sour
Sour
grape.
apple?
yeah.
Well, that's the Granny Smith you're getting there.
Yeah, I guess.
Doesn't have to be.
Taste it?
No.
So they also have peach and floral. So floral, not like a flower. I don't get any flower out of that. I don't know what flower.
I don't know that I'm getting floral.
I'm not getting any floral there. Mine's too cold, I'm sure.
Hmm.
I do get the Granny, like a rusted, like a, what do you see the Granny Smith green apple on the ground and you pick it up and it squishes your hand? I got that kind of smell.
I guess I get a little peach.
A
Very
little rotteny. I get a little rotteny.
You taste it too?
Yeah, I didn't mean to.
Oh my God, you guys are terrible at this.
Let's move on to the flavor, I guess. Got a guy walking away.
I'm with you, Lopi.
That's all right. Well, I appreciate you hanging in there with my silliness. So, let's see the flavor. Let's see. I'm gonna not read it all. I'm gonna go ahead and taste it. Let's go ahead and taste it, and then
Oh, good. Okay. Cheers.
yeah, cheers.
Oh yeah. Cheers.
Okay. It's not. It's drinkable.
Yeah, very crisp.
You reading that shit?
I would say that anyway.
All right.
It's very
Yes, go. I think you got.
It's very kind of tart a little bit in the front of the palate, and then in the back of the palate, it kind of soothes itself, smooths itself.
Okay. I'm gonna take another sip before I.
Agree with me or disagree?
Mm-hmm. It's nice to chew. You gotta chew it sometimes. Chew it in your mouth. Get it all over the place.
It's definitely not as like, when you drink some Savvy Bees or even Pinot Grigio, it's very citrusy. Like, I don't feel like it smells more citrusy than it tastes.
Yes, and that is because it's got a more minerally from that soil. There's a lot of mineral in there, I think.
What's that word? Minerally?
This is from South Africa, near the Cape, West Coast. So that's where this is from. And their wines have been criticized, I think, more than, maybe that's why they got a good price point. But a lot of people don't look at them as being a wine producer of some quality. And this one has definitely stood up. It's in many countries. I mean, it's in Russia. It's popular all over. Obviously, when they got over here, they were pretty excited about it. It blew up. Cool thing is what they got, and it's not available in the United States yet. But they took a lot of time, and they built, a wine box, right? Well, they made it a wine bag. It's like a Gucci bag is what it looks like, a tan Gucci bag. It's got metal on it, and it's soon to be over here. And I think it's a Magnum worth, so I think it's 3 bottles or so. But I saw it earlier online, and I was pretty impressed. I'm like, that's gonna sell here no matter what.
What do you mean? Like
So
an
a box wine?
wine?
Yeah, but it's a Gucci bag type looking box.
Looks like a purse.
So I can bring that with me to parties, and nobody will know that I'm filling
There you
up.
go. Then there'll be a goat on it.
And they won't know how much you just drank either. Oh, you got another bottle? Nope, I got my purse.
It's new, but I don't know if it's over here yet. I don't know how old that article was, but I saw a picture of it. And I was like, damn.
It is. Lisa found it.
Oh, it's here?
I think so. We'll have to look what she found. Yeah.
Yeah, if you look it up, it's pretty neat. It's definitely a party, something to say. But I think the story behind the whole vineyard is pretty swell and awesome. I've got a couple things here that I wanted to.
I like.
It's good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we are not big white wine drinkers, nor were we big Pinot Noir drinkers, and we appreciate the Lopez's introducing us to wine we wouldn't typically buy.
I like the, I will still do Santa Margarita. So I still like super cold Pinot Grigio. And this
Yeah.
kind of has some of that Sauvignon Blanc Pinot Grigio too.
Yeah.
It's got that mineral stuff. It is South Africa, so it's very similar. I would say it has similarities in there, but the one word I just picked up that now that I've drank it, because I would have never understood what that is. But think of this word when you taste it. Let's taste right now.
Okay.
Say it. Well, I'm gonna sip mine right after yours. So while you sip it, I'm gonna tell you.
Okay.
Wait, think it. Stone fruit.
What fruit?
Stone fruit.
What's
Stone?
Stone. Think of hillside, stone hillside and fruit. Think of that stone fruit. Do you get minerally stone fruit?
I don't even know what that means.
So I'm on a mountainside with a bunch of stones, and there's fruit.
I don't think I've ever eaten a stone fruit.
If you rub stones and fruit together and you put it in wine, that's what it tastes like. All right.
She absolutely loves stone fruit. She always has. She's just
Stone
having
fruit.
she's having a memory lapse.
I'm gonna make a stone fruit pie this weekend.
And she
I
don't.
certainly don't want a pie with stone fruit. Let me give you a little. Actually, you look up.
Oh, I love him. I love him.
Here.
He is too good. Too good.
Oh man. So I just found something interesting when I saw that. I was like, you know what? When you're tasting wine, I think you just got to be open and crazy, and think of the craziest two things that can go with that taste or that smell or that feeling you get. Such as one time we were in.
Wow.
What?
It's actually
It's a fruit. It is a fruit. I was fucking with them.
Yeah. I
Stone
didn't.
fruit?
Yes, it's a fruit. You stupid
It's a
people.
fruit with flesh or pulp enclosing a stone, such as a peach, plum, or cherry.
Yeah.
We love stone fruit.
Throw that up on the screen.
Fruit with a stone in it.
Lopi, you never cease to amaze me.
Well, I'm sure that you guys have fun with it. I sure do.
Listen, the man's married. Stop hitting on him virtually.
Look up stone fruit on your front.
It looks like a peach. I don't know if you can see it.
Yeah,
It does look like a peach.
Well, what do you think a stone is?
A pit.
there you go.
Yeah.
What do you think a stone was?
Well,
Baby doll.
Oh, that's just a general name of all of them. Fuck.
of all fruits with a pit in it?
Stone fruit.
California
Yeah.
stone fruit.
With a stone in it.
Nectarines?
Nectarines.
Nectarines.
White peaches, cherry plums, black plums, and gold dust peaches are all
Oh my
California.
God, I can't wait to seem
Stone
so
fruits.
smart at work next week and tell people about a stone fruit.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's not saying a stoned fruit.
A mango is also one.
So now that I got to
Wow.
the area
Actually learned
of
something on
what
these.
there you go. What I was talking about, I just saw a spot here. It says the producer background. So I'll read this to you real quick. The legend goes that some errant members of Fairview's long-established goat herd once escaped from their paddock into Fairview Vineyards. I didn't mention that.
Yeah.
After Charles Beck's young son, Jason, accidentally let the gate open. The little group happily roamed along the vineyards, showing rare discernment by selecting some of the ripe berries from the vines inspired by this. Oh, from the vines. That's I gotta clean my screen. I thought that was a comma. By this tail.
Damn printer.
Stupid printer. God damn, it's smudgy. Inspired by this tale, we now use these berries in the making of our goats to Rome. Oh, I'm not supposed to say though. It's goats to Rome because they're African. Wine. Highly drinkable and superb in quality, the goats du Rome range is an intriguing mix of Southern French and Italian style blends. Rich in complexity and at a value for money prices. Charles Beck abandoned this estate wine concept in the 80s, choosing to go where the terror is, which was not, it's territory, it's not terror, like terror. I don't know how to say that.
Wow.
But
Terror.
terror. Carnivore, terror. Today, they're one of the few farms that proudly own all of their vineyards with land in Parle, Darling, Slatland, and Stellenbosch.
Wherever that.
Stel- Isn't that the
I've
name?
been there.
Did you say Stellenbosch?
That's the name of that restaurant in
No.
Works, right? Right?
We were there 3 years ago.
Oh, you were in Stellenbosch.
We love it there. It's a quaint little town.
I think I have a t-shirt.
Oh, you? But it doesn't fit across your chest because it says Stellenbosch.
It's a double worder.
I would say, yeah. Above and below the boobs.
The breast line.
Breast line.
Depends on
Well,
depends
that
on
was a
the
little bit about that. I thought that was pretty intriguing. There's did I tell you that? I
Do
told
you know
you.
any of those wine? No, or those grapes?
Yeah, Viognier. You've had Viognier before. I've tried to just use several times.
Oh,
You don't
yeah.
like Grenache
it's too
Blanc.
sweet.
Grenache Blanc, you like that.
I don't mind that. Yeah.
These two, I don't know. The Roussan or Roussain, I don't know. Or the Marsan. I would say Marsan because if it's influenced by Italy and France, it's Marsan and it's Roussan. So I'll just go with that because that's what I think it is. So screw the rest of you. So I had another thing on here I wanted to tell you, but it's from South Africa, Western Cape. They call it a very dry wine. Oh, it goes good with.
It's only $9.99.
Yeah, it's only $9.99.
$9.99.
$9.99 is great.
That's a deal.
What I like about the $9.99 price for the population is, you know, when it's a great wine to have on stock when you know you're having some lightweights come over for your party. And, you know, because that happens a lot, you know, oh my God, they're going to be drinking. And then you like prolong your night a lot longer before you actually catch up to how quick they get drunk off of one bottle of wine.
What?
Like that.
And you go into the good wine once they're already drunk on the $9.99 wine?
No,
Is that what you're saying?
I'm not going there at all. All I'm saying is this is a great wine during the summer months to enjoy your patio prior to your guests show up, where you can have a nice bottle of wine for a very low price and not feel guilty about drinking before your guests show up.
Or two.
Okay.
Because it's affordable.
Right. It's affordable. You don't feel bad. You didn't dip into the good stuff. You're not waiting for your guests. You want to have, maybe you want to catch a little buzz before they show up. Who knows? But whatever it is, it's a great patio wine that
I like it.
feeling for the flavor of your guests.
So Lopi, let me ask you another question. Do you have more notes?
No, go ahead. Questions are available.
How are you picking or deciding on which wines you're picking?
Great question. That's why it takes.
Stupid wild ass guess.
Don't you think it takes till Thursday for a reason? I don't jump on it till Tuesday sometime, right? And when I do jump on it, I'm very perplexed. I like to have I want to have a real vineyard, not one of those fake places. And I
Or
want
one of those people that, as you
some
said,
kind of whites. Yeah.
the ABCs are using as their
Right.
label.
Anybody can
Yeah,
buy.
the generic bullshit that you get at ABC or, you know, or whatever the wine, Total Wine, whatever it is. So I'm trying to find real vineyards and then a good story and something that may inspire you to take a trip, you know, because this one has a lighthouse. You got to see a picture of it.
I would like to go. Somebody
It's
else.
got points on the outside. They go basically go like this. They go around and around and around till then they go in the door, and that's where the sun screwed up and let the damn things out, and they all went buck wild in the vineyard, and they only went to certain grapes. So that's kind of how they got to go. There's a red too, so maybe one day when we do get in the reds in the fall, we'll pull that one out more towards maybe September.
So what do you do? How do you research them?
Oh, well, I have to go to ABC because I think ABC to everybody except for Paladin or somebody out there out west, but they have a similar store probably that might be a mass produced type. So I got to find something like that everybody can try and find. So ABC locally, my Floridian friends, we all have ABCs. So they can go to the local store and find it. Now, my audience is not grown. It's actually shrunk. But you know, it has grown week over week. I am triple right now. I'm double.
I am going to start inviting more people to this.
I increased 200% week over week. And so.
Yeah.
Lopi, listen, I look forward to these. This is like the start of my weekend.
Start of mine too.
I love it.
They're very
informative. I've got something next week that I've saw in the store. I don't know if it's got a good story yet, but so now when I go in the store and I look for the one that I'm picking up, now I'm starting to, you know, pulling some other shit around and like, ooh, look at that, you know. Mm-hmm.
Well,
and I'm also trying to find stuff that people generally like. So there's a thing on ABC. I'm sorry to cut you off, but there's a thing on the website that says 100% come back for it. Like people make reviews of their own.
Oh, yeah.
So if there's a wine that says someone that come back for, I'll click on it. Or I'm like, ooh, you're in the running. You know, I'll narrow it down to 3, then I'll narrow it down to 2, and then I'll say that out of those 2, could that be one, maybe another week, or I don't like it at all, and I just pick one.
So have you noticed, and I don't know why I have been noticing, so 10 years ago, a decade ago, everyone started to finally go with some unique dynamic labels. Are you noticing that there's different bottling, and some of it being the glass stoppers, some of it being the screw top, some of it still being the cork, but different shapes, sizes, squattier, wider?
Yeah, we've got a squatty one.
So typically the varietal dictates the bottle.
I have found that that's not the case. So I'm
It's
wondering,
not in all cases, but it is in
Squatty
general.
one is.
What's that one?
It's a cab.
and it looks like a bourbon.
It does. But is it
Whoa.
bourbon aged barrel?
Yeah, it is.
That's why.
So
So,
you're gonna have a hint of bourbon in it.
so you have, if it's in a bourbon barrel, they're going to put it in that to distinctively place a bourbon cab into that situation.
So have you noticed and I'm not a huge, I'm not pro or against
Neither am I.
when it comes to the rosés, but rosés, all of a sudden, we used to giggle and we're like, you knew you were out for a good time if you were on a date and the girl said, I'd like a glass of Sutter Home White Zinfandel. You're like, all right, bring me a bottle. And the bottle might have been $9.99. So now rosé is so big and they are merchandising it so well.
They're doing well with all the labels on rosé, but when it boils down to, I picked up this one. Oh, go figure. Where's that from?
Cote de
A real
Rhone.
Cote de
Oh,
Rhone. Why didn't you tell us?
I didn't.
He did.
I know. I just said, why didn't you?
Right, because I didn't. So, so this rosé.
I got no reason. Just because I didn't.
Yeah, because I didn't. The only reason why I picked that up is because I so happen to be trying to pick up a rosé as an addition to what we have.
Okay.
I was putting secondary bottles, but I didn't have enough time to research to get a second bottle. I just got that because Janessa is ABC. I don't know if you've been in there lately. They switched the whole counter to the left. The counter's not on the right when you walk in. You walk in, it's down to the left.
ABC, they're doing a great job with
Yeah, they're remodeling all of them, but this one they're having a hard time with because it's so old. But they did a good job of that. So anyway, Janessa's all over the place. So I'm like, look their picture on the little tag. I see this girl walking by with a mask. I'm like, that's Janessa. That's probably Janessa. Hey, how are you? What's your name? She goes, Jeff. I knew it was you. So I'm staring at the bin of rosés. She's got a bunch of rosés there. And I go, so how do you pick the wine? Because I'm trying to learn from her, right? How I can find my ways of picking better. And she said, no, well, every month we get 30 wines we have to taste, whether either at home or here, and we do most of them here. And we have to write notes on them and find the ones you like, and never write what you don't like, just what you like. And then when you find something you really like, you want to recommend, they have to do a little write-up. So I said, all right, so I've been very, tried almost all these rosés. Like, I don't really spend $30 on a rosé, first of all.
Right.
No.
And she's like, she pointed out to that one. And she goes, this one, they just got a bunch of them in. So there's a whole bin of this. You want to go back. There's a big bin of these. There's a lot of these. She's like, we just got them all in, and then it's really good, and I recommend that one. And she also said, after you taste it, I'd really appreciate if you come back and let me know what you thought of it. So two reasons. One, I can learn what you like, and two, I can learn, how I stack up against the public. So
She knows you're a wine snob. She knows you're a huge.
shit. I'm walking there with a goddamn Cigar City hat on and wings hanging out and freaking stupid ass fishing shirt on. I look like the boat.
You're a YouTube sensation, Lopi.
Yeah, right. Yeah, that's me.
Lopey-licious, can we stop recording so that we can just be social?
Oh, I forgot I was even doing that. How do I?
I think she's going to ask you some inappropriate questions, Lopi.
Hold on. Wait, it said end meeting.
Maybe.
Oh, there it is.